more analysis now on this attack. Standing by in Bridgeport, Connecticut is Robert Riggs. He's an assistant professor of religion and politics at the University of Bridgeport. Robert, what do you think was the motivation for this attack today?
Well, it's really hard to say what the attackers were actually thinking. They don't seem to have put out any specific statements laying out their motivations, but we can make some educated guesses. There's been this ongoing religious fueled tension around the Temple Mount, or what the Muslims call the noble sanctuary, regarding access to it and who controls that. There's been longer standing protests in the West Bank since July, prior to and then surrounding the Gaza conflict. They don't seem to have had any specific affiliation with any one known group, Palestinian militant group. So, the big concern is that these guys are lone wolves, that they're just sort of generally frustrated with what they view as a situation, an untenable situation in East Jerusalem.
Talk to me about your concerns when it comes to more violence now. We saw these attacks on pedestrians recently as well. Now this sort of seemingly random attack on the synagogue this morning. 6 Israelis, 7 Israelis killed in recent weeks. And whether this is a sign of what's to come here in this sort of escalating standoff.
Well, violence begets violence. There's been now since July something like 17 Palestinians killed and approximately 11 Israelis, I believe, 11 or 12. And it sort of appears to be kind of, in some cases, tit for tat confrontations that escalate into violence. There's some talk of a third intifada movement, but there's a lot of reasons to think that that's not likely to happen. One of them being the general cooperation between the Palestinian National Authority and the Israeli government on security issues in the West Bank. The summit between Kerry and Netanyahu and King Abdullah II in Jordan this past week. I would imagine that there's going to continue to be outbreaks of violence. Now Netanyahu has decided that he would reverse policy and begin to demolish homes of those who perpetuate attacks. So, that will also probably lead to greater frustration and perhaps more attacks on the part of Palestinians.
Robert Riggs coming to us from Bridgeport in Connecticut. Thank you for your time today, Robert.
Thank you.